Is Canada truly the political utopia many perceive it to be? This is the question that looms large as we delve into the image of Canada, painted so beautifully on the global canvas, a haven of political stability, a beacon of democratic values. But is this all there is, or is there more beneath the surface? Canada's political scene is often regarded as a breath of fresh air compared to its southern neighbor. It's viewed as a land where political discourse is civil, where policy takes precedence over partisanship. But like any painting, the beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. Is this a fair and complete representation, or have we merely scratched the surface of a more complex political landscape? The maple leaf, a symbol of Canada, is more than just an emblem. It's a story, a narrative, a promise. But how true is this promise? Dive in to uncover the truth behind the maple leaf. Many view Canadian politics as dull and uneventful. But is this the whole truth? It's a common misperception that Canadian politics are as calm and polite as the country's reputation. Many believe that the political landscape in the Great White North is devoid of the drama and controversy that often characterize politics in other countries. But let's delve a little deeper and see if this is truly the case. Canada's political history is steeped in significant events and policies that have sparked heated debates and controversies. For instance, the Quiet Revolution in Quebec during the 60s was anything but quiet. This period saw a series of radical reforms and transformations that fundamentally changed the province's society and economy. It was a time of intense political activity, with fiery debates over language rights, secularism, and Quebec's place within Canada. Another prime example is the National Energy Program introduced in the early 80s. This policy aimed to increase Canadian ownership of the energy industry and protect the country from fluctuating global oil prices. But it sparked a fierce backlash in oil-rich provinces like Alberta, leading to years of political tension and debate. And let's not forget Canada's ongoing discourse on Indigenous rights. From the Oka crisis in 1990 to the Idle No More movement in 2012, these issues have resulted in passionate debates and significant policy changes. Even in recent years, Canadian politics have seen their fair share of excitement. The SNC-Lavalin affair, a major political scandal involving allegations of political interference in a criminal trial, rocked the nation in 2019. It led to heated discussions, resignations, and even a drop in approval ratings for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. So, is Canadian politics dull? Far from it. It's a vibrant landscape filled with passionate debates, controversial policies, and significant historical events. It's a realm where calm politeness doesn't always rule, and where the issues at stake can stir emotions and create waves of change. So it's clear that Canadian politics are anything but boring. Is Canada truly a post-racial society, free from the shackles of discrimination and racism? Let's delve into this question. The term post-racial suggests a society where racial prejudice and discrimination no longer exist. The notion that Canada is a post-racial society is a myth that needs to be debunked. While Canada prides itself on being a multicultural mosaic and a haven of diversity, the reality is that systemic racism and discrimination are still prevalent issues. Canada's Indigenous communities, for instance, have been marginalized and their rights have been violated for centuries. Despite being the original inhabitants of the land, they continue to face issues such as lack of access to clean water, education, and healthcare. This is a clear example of systemic racism, where the system is stacked against a particular race, making it difficult for them to have the same opportunities as others. Moving on, let's consider the Black and Asian communities in Canada. They too face discrimination and bias. According to a study by the Canadian Race Relations Foundation, Black and Asian Canadians are more likely to experience discrimination based on their race than their white counterparts. This is evident in various sectors, including employment, housing, and even in schools. Moreover, the rise in hate crimes against these communities, especially amidst the pandemic, has further underscored the racial issues Canada is grappling with. Such incidents contradict the image of a post-racial society and highlight the need for significant change. It's also worth noting that while Canada has made strides in implementing policies to address these issues, the progress has been slow and there's still a long way to go. Racial disparities continue to exist, and the path to truly becoming a post-racial society is far from smooth. In conclusion, while Canada is a multicultural country that celebrates diversity, it is not devoid of racial prejudice and discrimination. The struggles faced by minority communities clearly indicate that systemic racism is still a reality. The myth of a post-racial Canada, as we see, is far from reality. Canada, a champion of the environment, or is it? This question might surprise you, especially if you've been lulled by the tranquil images of Canada's pristine wilderness. But let's delve a little deeper. Canada is often lauded as a global leader in environmental stewardship. Its vast forests, clean air, and commitment to renewable energy paint a picture of a nation in harmony with nature. Yet there's more to the story than meets the eye. While Canada has made strides in renewable energy and conservation, it's also home to the third largest oil reserves in the world. The extraction and production of this oil, particularly from the oil sands, is a significant source of greenhouse gas emissions. In fact, according to the government's own reports, Canada is among the top 10 global emitters of carbon dioxide. Furthermore, Canada's per capita emissions are among the highest in the world. This might seem counterintuitive given Canada's green image, but it reflects a reality where economic interests often outweigh environmental concerns. Then there's the issue of water. Canada holds a fifth of the world's fresh water, but pollution and overuse threaten this vital resource. Indigenous communities in particular bear the brunt of these challenges, with many having long-term drinking water advisories. Canada's record on waste is also troubling. Canadians generate more garbage per capita than any other country on Earth. This waste not only fills up landfills but also pollutes our oceans and contributes to climate change. So, while Canada has made significant progress in environmental stewardship, there's still much work to be done. It's a complex issue, with economic, social, and environmental factors all at play. What's clear, though, is that environmental stewardship is more than just a label. It requires action, commitment, and a willingness to make tough decisions. Perhaps it's time to reconsider Canada's green image. Now that we've busted some myths, what's the real picture of Canada's political landscape? Well, it's much more complex and dynamic than these stereotypes would have you believe. Canada's political scene is a veritable kaleidoscope, constantly shifting and evolving. It's far from being a monotonous one-note symphony. Canada is a federal parliamentary democracy and a constitutional monarchy, meaning the country recognizes a monarch as the official head of state, but the monarch's powers are limited by the Constitution. Power is divided between federal and provincial governments, adding another layer of complexity to the political landscape. The country's two major political parties, the Liberals and the Conservatives, have shaped much of Canada's political history, but they are not the only players on the field. The New Democratic Party and the Green Party also have significant influence. Each of these parties carries its own unique ideologies and policy priorities, contributing to a vibrant, multifaceted political discourse. Canadian politics are also marked by a strong emphasis on multiculturalism. This is a core national policy and is reflected in the political landscape. The House of Commons, the elected lower house of Canada's Parliament, is increasingly diverse, with representatives from a wide array of ethnic, cultural, and linguistic backgrounds. And let's not forget the Indigenous peoples of Canada, who are asserting their political rights and sovereignty, reshaping the political landscape in profound ways. Indigenous issues have become a significant part of the national conversation, influencing policy decisions and party platforms. Environmental stewardship, too, plays a significant role in Canadian politics. From debates about climate change to discussions on resource management, environmental issues are often at the forefront of political debates. Far from being boring, Canadian politics are intriguing, multidimensional, and always evolving. They reflect the diversity and dynamism of the country itself, challenging stereotypes and defying simple categorization. Canadian politics, it seems, are more intricate and intriguing than they appear. So what does this mean for us, and why should we care? Well, to put it simply, the political landscape is a reflection of our society. It's the mirror that reflects our values, our hopes, our fears, and our aspirations. The myths we've busted about Canadian politics today are just a small fraction of the narratives that shape our perception of the world around us. Understanding these realities beyond popular myths is crucial, not just for Canadians, but for anyone interested in that we should never take things at face value. The world of politics is complex, layered, and constantly changing. It's filled with nuances that can often be overlooked if we only skim the surface. So I encourage you all to delve deeper. Continue researching, continue questioning, continue challenging the narratives presented to you. Remember, the truth often lies beneath the surface. Keep questioning, keep exploring.